As the video title obviously suggests, it is time to install this engine permanently into the chassis. It is coming back together. This is a huge moment for everybody. We're gonna disassemble all the things that are measured and sat on here gently, and thankfully, because of my mil-spec harness, this whole intake manifold pops right off with one connector. We're gonna get this block down to just a bare core, short block as you would call it, put my custom crane setup on there, and, well, first we have to seal the oil pan. That wiring is, in fact, crisp-proof. We are going to clean off this side. We're going to seal off all of the intake runners so we don't get anything in this, because this block's going to be back down to this a couple times in a row. And thankfully, we had plugged all these, because my God, if anything went into the engine while we were just doing basic stuff, I would have cried. That is oddly the correct width. Well, it's 2 inches wide. This is 50 millimeters wide. They're actually pretty close.
I guess I see what that mount do.
Rip and bite off anything that tries to get close to it, so just keep that in mind.
I'm into that.
Ooh. You guys are gay, you know that? We are safer now. So we'll take this front off. Man, I love how modular this stuff is getting. Of course, I haven't finished that part, but the rest is sick. For the sake of simplicity, we're actually gonna just slide it off of here. That's really there. It's pretty balanced. So we are now off of my contraption. We're basically gonna stay up in here for a little bit until we take this whole pan off, clean that up, take the surface with a stone, clean that up, and put this all back together. It's not even worth putting it onto an engine stand because we can't put it on an engine stand. That's the hard part about this. There's nothing to hold on to turn the engine on its side. At least what we know is when we go to clean the whole oil pan area, gravity is working to our advantage and everything will just fall to the ground. So that was what it took. That weighs a lot. The oil pan is 28 pounds. That's a lot of aluminum. It's clear. Not 1, not 2, not 3 or 4, but 5 stones set up to take this off. You know what that movie is from? Not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 stones.
No, I have no idea.
Fifth Element.
Never seen it.
Loser. I already did this already, but I just want to make sure what was getting scuffed up. I only use this stuff on the 4-rotor. Wow.
That's why.
That is 100% why. I get that real nice bond on the... I miss Chris. You don't hear half the noises you hear when he's here. That's a little assembly oil. Oh, some of that's just like dust from all the work that we've been doing. Yeah, we never cleaned this, so it was just sitting out in the open for a while. Good thing I am cleaning this because all that would end up in the oil filter, oil system. As you can tell, with all of the hustle and bustle at the shop, I rarely get time to sit down and eat. And so I make smoothies for myself. And I tell you what, that was the perfect opportunity to mix my athletic greens in with my smoothie. Athletic greens, one of the many things that are kiwis in here. I don't actually use kiwi in my smoothies, but I do use bananas, apples, and most importantly, blueberries as well. But really, all of the nutrients that I want are in this. You've got your probiotics, you've got all different types of vitamins and minerals necessary for making your life much better, and it's all in this little packet. What I love about this is I don't even have to guess on scooping, but your choice either way. So this is genuinely the right way to peel a banana, and you know how you know it's the right way? This is how monkeys do it. So much easier than snapping the neck. Since I've been using Athletic Greens for a couple months now, the changes have been wonderful. Athletic Greens is packed with superfoods which include magnesium that help the muscles recover. Especially while I'm on the go right now, avoiding getting sick is very important to me, so Athletic Greens includes vitamin C, zinc, and other things to support my immune system. I'm not one for making New Year's resolutions. Instead, I like to try and commit to something and stay with it, and Athletic Greens has made my health easy to make a priority. Are you guys ready to get your greens? Click on the link in the description to start your order. Not only that, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D as well as 5 free travel packs. Go to athleticgreens.com/RobDahm to get your free gift on your first purchase. A little 44mm hydraulic bearing that's been sitting on the shelf waiting for this moment. Make sure the inner side of this is as it can be. I almost forgot this last time. Almost forgot to put it back in. That's all there is to it. There's the throwout bearing. Nice clean Tilton hydraulic clutch there, but I just wanted to make sure this looked greased up a little bit. Just saying this off camera to Joel, you realize this is all 4 discs of the clutch connecting to here. Clutch gets engaged, clink. 100% of the power for all 4 wheels ends up being transmitted to this piece right here. It's always wild to see where's the minimum. I mean, this is treated steel. It's definitely meant to handle power, but you think of all the other axles, each tire and all the 35 spline stuff, and at the end of the day, this is all 4 tires, all the torque, all being transmitted through one small piece. We're seeing some significant wear from the pilot bearing. So you can see that lip right on there. Check this out. The pilot bearing is actually pretty misunderstood. The idea is that the tip of this is aligning within there, right? Clutch is here, this is the engine. When the clutch pedal is let go, when the clutch is like normal, unless you're pushing it in, if it's just normal, these 2 things are held in by the clutch and the flywheel, and they spin at the exact same rate. But when you push the clutch in, this input shaft on the transmission spins separate from the engine. It might spin with the transmission, with the wheels. It might not. If you're between gears and whatnot, this thing will spin independently. So it's kind of wild when you're clutching and all that. You're actually adjusting the speed of this thing separate from the engine. That pilot bearing is supposed to lubricate it there. Well, there's something weird going on. And when I set it in place and spin it a little bit, I start getting this hazing because the roller bearings inside of that are not spinning. The whole thing's spinning, but the roller bearings aren't. So thankfully, X-Clutch had sent me a spare one. We're gonna swap them out because the very first time I ever had my car dead on the road was because my pilot bearing welded itself, the input shaft to the engine. And what does that feel like? It means no matter when you press the clutch or not, it never disengages. So you always have power from the engine to the transmission. Sucks completely. We're gonna avoid that. If you've ever had this sort of issue, these are a pain in the ass to get out. And a lot of people use like bread. You'll actually put bread inside of there and it becomes like a hydraulic agent. Push the bread in and it'll actually push the outer ring out because this process sucks. It unfortunately required all these different tools and it came down to a carbide cutter to cut the ring. That was not gonna happen, but we saw it start to move. We basically had to cut, look at that. Yeah, we had to cut through it until it broke the compression. Now we got a shit ton of, we got some cleaning to do. Well, that nightmare is over. It is time to put a new nightmare back in, and I have a feeling it's not gonna be the easiest thing to install. That's the whole reason the last one was difficult, but it'll stay in once it's in. I use a socket. There. Look at that though.
Way smoother.
Yeah. Okay. So that thing was trashed. Getting that grease in there. So we don't have to revisit this. That's a little too much grease. Oops. That can finally go back in. Let's get some of these on there to help locate this thing. There are all the studs all on there. It's kind of wild. One of the special things about this engine is actually the oil pan, because these are not M6s, these are M8s. They actually drilled all these out. Of course, the irons, you can drill whatever you want to. Front iron, rear iron, they're all overdone to M8. Strong oil pan. But I'm basically ready to start siliconing and getting it ready to pop up. We could do it on the bottom side of that and be guaranteed, but on this, we're just gonna draw circles. The machinist side of me now is kind of like noticing that, you know what, it doesn't need to be that thick, but I want to have it definitely apply to a wider surface area. I'm getting the pan close and then it'll kind of all seal at once. The point of no return for making sure we start getting the adhesive of this gasket maker all just evenly compressed, and we don't come back from this. If you pull it back down, then you start pulling the strings and the striations and shit, and then you don't longer have that even pressure. Again, we're not tightening all of these at all. We're just getting them to start compressing it, and then we'll go and put all of them on and then tighten them all at that moment. That last little step. It's wild because this oil pan is actually under vacuum. You're thinking that, oh man, this is gonna prevent oil from coming out, maybe while the car's sitting, but the oil pan is actually experiencing vacuum while the car's running. So I'm actually sealing this to prevent air from going in from out here. I actually had it where this section of the gasket actually sucked in. It was the weirdest thing because I had way too much vacuum. It is finally time for me to put my quad plate sex sandwich back onto the back of the motor, and that's gonna take a little bit of work. I have the even lighter flywheel. I am not going to run that because this is a very, very light flywheel, and in fact, even that could almost be too light, but I just like that little bit more stability. Helps with tuning as well for me, but we've got a lot of discs, we got a lot of stuff to clean up, and we got a lot of stuff to torque. Tons of dust. Clean all that off. These are the bolts that you end up going to whatever 70 some pounds of torque plus thread locker. Don't want that flywheel coming off. Little guy ready to go. We'll put some red thread. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy.
Too late.
That's not bad. That's not bad. It's a little crazy. Big guy. The only reason I'm not using a black socket is because it's a 12 point. Bottom, it's Chris. No, you're.
Who's bottom now?
Damn.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right, I'm done. Not able to recover from that moment.
Better put that in the video.
Yeah, no, leave that in the video. That's fair game. I talk shit and look what happens. Probably hit something like that right there on the concrete. They want to switch me over to a triple plate 9-inch. This is a quad 7 1/4. And the reason why is that the bigger disc can actually hold more heat. And looking good there. This is not the easiest to install on a side like this. I wonder why these are all so hot. I mean, I guess I was drag racing, so I guess that makes sense. But I'm impressed at how hot this got. Well, the material looks decent and basically the same. And the old one, the back one was all black because of all the oil that was coming out of the E-shaft. It's nice to have something not so rough. I have to say, this clutch is one of the most streetable, smooth, wonderful clutches I've ever driven. For being one of the most extreme clutches I've ever driven. It handles all that power, but it all just is so smooth. Okay, I may regret this order of operations because these bolts are going to want to fall out. If I tilt this backwards, I'm going to regret this. So my goal is to not touch any of the things with my hands. Pick this up. Try to get it to go in there.
First step, success.
And then the clutch, the disc, it's gonna be in there. I'll go to the second pressure plate. I really realized I could have done this way easier. It's been a minute. Second one. Third one. And let's get that fourth one in there. Could have done this so much easier. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I was expecting failure.
I was expecting failure too. I was like, this was dumb. I've never done a clutch like that. Okay, so these do not get torqued as hard as all the other ones. 26 foot-pounds. And we will stick to that.
Oh, you broke it on a 3-rotor, right?
Shut the fuck up, Joel.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah. Yes, I did. There was like, what, 200 of them? There's like so many of them.
Fucking shit ton. There's like at least.
Okay, so just make sure it's not sagging. In honor of the Australians that built this, we're gonna go to 35 newton meters, which is the same as 26 foot-pounds. There's 35. One of the biggest reasons for this is that you're slowly clamping down on this, the whole pressure plate and everything. So it actually matters the amount of torque on this. If you go too low, if you just like, yeah, that's tight enough, the clutch is not connected. You have to get the clutch to fully engage. You actually can feel it when you're basically going until you hit it. You feel it hit rock bottom, and then you just go like a little bit after that. You'll feel it go right to there, right? You just feel it like dink.
Oh, it doesn't make a click?
Well, it will, but I'm just showing you that there's actually like you can actually feel it if you're like, see it right there. That's when it has hit rock bottom, and now you're actually torquing the bolt, tightening it to the flywheel. So it's like a different part of the journey. So now we'll go for our click. You know what that means? She's ready to install.
I have a feeling this clutch is going to come in clutch.
I have no hope for the future. Okay. Oh no, it's not a 2-rotor. I thought for a second. This shows you how.
You are.
Oh nope. There we go.
Damn.
And I want to point out I have all the spark plugs in.
Strong man.
Engine still spins. That's good. We have a clutch all clutched on. Oh my god, I missed you. It's crazy because we're working on all the body stuff, right? And then I'm like, oh, by the way, this is also an all-wheel drive car. Oh, by the way, this is also a almost 2,000 horsepower rotary engine. Oh, by the way, it's a 4. Like, I keep hitting these like different moments of, oh my god, this thing is insane. We're ready. This is an iconic moment for me. I'm in a rush right now because I'm trying to get ready for all the races and everything. It's still, I need to pause and just like, this is even a screenshot or a thumbnail for me that this is, look at this thing. This was my dream for years of getting this thing running engine inside my chassis. And so even though everything else that's going on is so epic, it still comes down to this is real. This is mine. It operates. It runs. As soon as the clutch came on and you see how long this engine is, you realize how unobtainium this is. I'm not saying, okay, cool, I got it. You guys don't. I'm saying I feel like a kid that shouldn't have this. This is a dream come true. So I'm very thankful for this. It's gonna go down in there. You're gonna hide the motor, all the internals that I worked very hard on as well. It's gonna be covered by everything else, and then it's gonna be covered by all the carbon. So it's funny that the heart is a piece of beauty, and yet it is not gonna be seen. It'll be heard though. Let's go ahead and get it over there. But yeah. Motherfuck, dude. Well, we are at a dead stop at the moment because the pedal box that was just made didn't take into account that the engine had to sit there. So unfortunately, we can't even get it closer if we wanted to. So I think we might have to pull the engine out and sawzall the shit out of that to get the oil pedestal area to fit. I might be able to do it in one hit with the sawzall, like on an angle.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to have the engine out. We can't have clean the whole area out. I don't want to even remotely risk that. I am the motor. Someday we will not have to do this to such a crazy chassis. That was actually really efficient timing.
Yes, sir.
Is that it?
Yeah, don't move. This side's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 or 2 bolts just through the area over there so we don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
What we do is do the same thing on the other side, put 2 bolts in, get them kind of close to each other, and then we can tighten the other engine mount. But there you guys go. That is the thing we've been wanting to see. It's been a year. It's been literally a year. And we are finally ready, committed to doing this. The engine is in. It's not coming back out unless it's in pieces. Yeah, I want rotors there, housings here. That's the only way that engine is coming back out of this car. I am intending to make some serious, beautiful music, and this is the first step to doing that. We got our instrument tuned up. It is time to start putting everything back on top of it. And sadly, this is the last moment where we get to see just the engine, or just that bazooka, the BFG engine, bell housing, transmission, GTR transfer case. That is a sick shot that you will never get to see again. Once the intake manifold goes on, once everything else goes on, the heart is hidden, but it's in there beating.